Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Bossy, and you guys, I am here with a story time video. Now you guys, this story time video happened a long time ago. I actually think this happened when I was maybe 19 or 20. It does not involve Bob. So the story time is actually about how I busted my friend's man on like those dating hotline telephone lines. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah, y'all, it was so funny, y'all. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump into this story. So I think I had just had my oldest daughter and I wasn't working. I was living with my mom, and me and my good friend, I'm just gonna call her Tammy, because she is subscribed to my channel and she watches my videos. So we're gonna call you Tammy, girl. I ain't gonna put your name out there. But we hung really tough. We graduated together and we kicked it still after, you know, high school and everything like that. That was my girl. And so she actually had been dating this guy, which in turn ended up becoming her baby's father. But she was dating this guy, and his name, we're gonna say, is Tommy. She's Tammy, he's Tommy. Another friend I had, which she is no longer here, she actually passed away last year. Her and I used to, yeah, I had a boyfriend, and I don't know, she probably didn't have a boyfriend, but her and I used to play on the hotline, chat line. I forgot the number, but like we would really do it like mostly on Saturday nights or Friday nights. Sometimes during the weekday we would like be on the phone together and then dial into the hotline number, and you know, you could pick if you want to speak to men or women. Oh my god, that stuff was so fun because you would talk to some crazy people. So we were on there, just playing around, and I guess she was getting tired or whatever, so she went ahead and got off the phone and disconnected, and I ended up calling her back. I was bored, I didn't have nothing to do, and I wasn't really gonna talk to those men. I just was on there playing and giving fake names, just doing, you know, just childish stuff. I was probably what, 19 or 20, so yeah, I was childish, y'all. But I was just playing around on there. I was never really going to meet these men. So I end up on there, you know, I tried to have like a sexy voice on there. Like my message was, hey, I'm Tamika, I'm such and such, and you know, I'm this, you know, describing, trying to make it sound like I look like Beyonce or some stuff. And so I would get a bunch of men trying to chat with me. Like it would be like I'd get notifications like ding ding ding. And so one guy, because if they ding you, you can actually listen to their message and how they sound. So one guy, he sound kind of familiar, so he kept dinging me. So I went ahead and accepted his chat. Like you could actually talk to the guy. So I actually accepted his chat. I forgot, was it Quest? Not Quest. I forget what it was. It was Hotline. It was something. They had commercials on this stuff. But anyway, I accepted it. Because I'm like, I know this dude. Something ain't right. That voice sounds so familiar. So he was like, hey, yeah, my name is Tommy, and you sound real nice. You know, I stay, what did he say? I stay in the south side part of KC. And I was like, oh, me too. And so I'm still like, why does this voice sound so familiar? So he's steadily talking, asking if I really look how I said I look, and I'm like, I really do, you know, just lying, knowing good and well I just had a baby and don't look like no Beyonce. So anyway, I was just describing stuff to him and trying to sound all sexy and all this on the phone. So then he was like, you know what, I don't know, something about you, you just seem like you all woman, and I just really want to meet you. I want to meet you. And I'm like, okay. And so I'm like, what you mean? You want to meet me? He was like, yeah, I would love to meet you. So I was like, let me ask you a few questions first. And on my profile, I think I said I was like 22 or 23 years old. And so I didn't have my real age on there. And so I asked him, I said, how old are you again? Because I really didn't listen to his full profile. I just heard his voice. I'm like, this ninja sound familiar. So he was like, he told me that he was 25 years old and he was single. He didn't have any kids and he was just looking for Mrs. Right. And I sound like I could be that one. And he was like, I really would like to meet you. And I was like, okay, well, can we get off this chat line and can I get your actual phone number? And he was like, yeah. So he gave me his number. I didn't give him mine, but he gave me his number. And so I was like, well, I'll call you in about 10 minutes so we can discuss more details. And so he was like, okay, cool. And so we got off the phone and I'm just sitting there like, this person's voice sounds so familiar. I know this voice. He don't know my voice, but I know this voice. I was like, I gotta talk to him more because this is either a family member of mine or this is somebody that I really, really know. So I ended up calling him and I called him blocked. And the first time I called him, he didn't answer. So then I left a voicemail and I was like, hey, this is Tamika, just calling you. This is the girl from off the chat line. So I waited and I called him back 2 minutes later and he answered like on the second or third ring. And I was like, hey, this is Tamika. He was like, why are you calling me blocked? I was like, oh, my number just shows up blocked anytime, you know, I call someone. That's how my number shows up. I don't display my number for anyone. So I was like, so anytime we talk, that's how my number's going to show up. It's going to show up as unknown. And he kind of paused and was like, okay, whatever. So we're talking and he was like, we just talking and I'm trying to get more information out of him. Like, so where do you live and what school did you go to? Just trying to get to know him. And at the same time, he's like, so what do you have on? What are you wearing? And I'm like, what? And he's just like, what do you have on? I can just picture you in something real nice and sexy. And I'm just trying not to laugh. Because, mind y'all, I'm not really trying to meet nobody. I'm having fun on the phone. But this person caught my attention because I know this person. So he was like, let's play. Let's have some fun. And I was like, what kind of fun you mean? He was like, well, first off, I want to meet you. What are you doing tonight? What are you doing tonight? You got your own place? And I was like, yeah, I got my own place. And he was like, well, how about I come through and we can get to know each other a little better? And I was like, what you trying to say? What you mean? What you trying to do? Like this one, I'm like, okay, I'm about to play with him. I was like, so what you trying to do? And he was like, I can go get some condoms. And my ex-girlfriend, she had this red little night teddy that she never wore because we broke up. So I could bring that. I'm sure you're around her size if your description is how you say it is. And I could bring some liquor to drink. Mind you, I didn't drink or anything like that then. And he was like, I can bring some liquor to drink. And so all of a sudden, he's talking. And it clicked. I knew who it was. My good friend Tammy's boyfriend. She was pregnant. It was her boyfriend that I was talking to on the freaking chat line. So, oh yes, I don't get down with the cheaters. So what I did was, once I picked up on his voice and realized that's who it was, so I was like, oh really? Okay, we can do that. I was like, is it okay if I give you a call back? And he was like, well, what's wrong? I was like, well, no, I just want to, get my house in order. And I'll call you back with my address and let you know when you can come over so you can bring over, your champagne or whatever the hell you bringing over. As soon as I hung that phone up, I called my friend Tammy. Now, she had already been having some type of kind of feelings about this dude They hadn't been dating for like a super long time, and he was actually a lot older than us, and he lied about that too. But she kind of had her suspicions about certain things he did. So I called her so quick. I said, Tammy, this is Basima. I'm like, just relax, just calm down and let me talk. I said, I was on the chat line. You know how me and Victoria play on the chat line. I said, we was on the chat line. I was bored, so I got back on there. I said, Tammy, when I got on the chat line, somebody kept trying to connect with me. And I said, I approve they connect. I said, because the voice sounds so familiar. I said, Tammy, I'm so sorry. I was like, but I think that was Tommy that I was talking to, and he wants to come to my house and meet up with me and have sex with me. And she was like, no, Basima, you lying. He's not going to do that. No. And I was like, I promise you, he is trying to come to my house, which was my mama's house, because I lived with my mama then. I was only 19 or 20. I was like, no, he's trying to come to my house, even though I'm not really going to let him. But I'm like, he's really trying to come to my house. I'm going to call this dude back with you on the phone, but you got to be on mute and you got to be quiet. So she's like, okay. So I end up calling his number back. Of course, he showed up blocked because I had to call block. And he was like, hello? And I was like, yeah, it's me, Tamika. And I was like, so what time were you trying to meet up? And, you know, what kind of drink are you going to bring? I don't even know. Back then, I didn't know no drinks because I didn't drink. And he was like, oh, yeah, I can bring, he said some drink that I still probably ain't never had. And he was like, and I'll bring that red teddy for you to wear too. He was like, I can't wait to meet you. And I was like, oh, somebody's calling me. Let me give you a call right back. At this point, I was starting to think he started to know I was playing around. But he still was ready. He was like, okay, well, just give me a call back and give me your info. And I'm like, okay. So I was like, Tammy, you sit there. When I tell you she was pissed, she was pissed. She's like, hold on. I'm about to call that nigga right now. So I then go on mute. She actually calls Tommy's number, the same number that I said, this is the number I'm calling. She said, that's Tommy's number. I said, okay, because I didn't know her dude's number before this man gave me the number he gave me. She was like, that's Tommy's number. I was like, okay, well, I'll go on mute and you can go ahead and call him. So she called him. She was like, I told her, please don't act mad. I don't want him to know it's me. So she calls. He don't answer the first time. She calls again. He answers. He's like, hello. Trying to act like he was asleep. Like, nigga, are you for real? So she was like, hey, what you finna do? What you doing? She was like, can you come over? He was like, oh, man, I don't feel good. Like, I do not feel good at all. I feel sick. She was like, oh, I can bring you some chicken soup. He was like, oh, no, I got some. He was like, I think he said somebody brought him some. His mama brought him some or something he said. I don't know. So he said somebody had already brought him something. And she was like, oh, are you sure? She was like, I can go. He was like, no, I'm good. I just need my rest. I just need to go to sleep. She was like, oh, okay, but you was fine earlier. And he was like, I don't know what's wrong. I just ain't feeling good and I'm tired and I just really, really need some rest. She was like, oh, okay. She was like, well, call me later. He was like, all right, I will. They got off the phone. She was like, Basima, call that nigga back right now. Give him your address and tell him to come to your house. And she was like, and I'm going to be on my way. Because she lived close to me. So I was like, girl, I'm not about to have him come to my house. I was like, my mama's here. I was like, and I don't want your dude coming here and he might get here before you get here. And then once he sees me, I don't know what he gonna do. He probably gonna attack me because he thinking I'm somebody, because he's seen me before, but we don't really talk. I've heard him talk several times, a lot, because, you know, whether I'm on the phone with her or he came over, you know, and plus I can pick up on voices, but I guess he didn't pick up on my voice. Plus, I was trying to sound sexy. But I was thinking, I don't want this dude to show up and then see, oh shit, it's Basima. And then he might get mad and who knows what he might do. Try to beat me up or something. I don't know, because we playing with him. And so she was like, no, call him back and tell him to come. And I was like, nah, girl, he ain't about to come to my house. I can't do that. I said, I was just trying to let you know that your dude is on the chat line picking up women. And I was like, I was just on there messing around, but he really trying to come to my house. So she was like, all right, call him back now. Call him back. And she said, I'm going to talk and you don't say nothing. So I'm like, oh my God, and my heart's beating. I'm getting all excited and hyped like, this thing about to get busted. So I called him back and he was like, hey, he was like, so you ready for me to come over? He was like, what's your address? And what's the best time for me to come? And I didn't say nothing and it was kind of silence. And he was like, hello? She was like, I thought you was sick. I thought you was sick. He was like, hello, who is this? She was like, I thought you was sick. I thought you was sick. She was like, you on this chat line talking to Basima? He was like, man, who the fuck is this? And he hung up. Oh my God. She must have kept calling him back and calling him back. Like, she telling me to stay on the phone. Like, well, I don't need to stay on the phone no more after this. I done exposed what's going on by accident, which I really wanted her to find out because I didn't care for him that much either. I ain't even gonna lie. And she was like, no, stay on the phone. So finally he answers and she was like, you know, going off like, why you trying to meet Basima? Why you trying to meet chicks on there? He was like, that wasn't me. It wasn't like that. That wasn't me. She was like, who else was it? It was you. It was you. He was like, no. And why the F your friend playing anyway to where her stupid just going off cussing and saying stuff about me, cussing me out. Then I started talking stuff to him like, nigga, you shouldn't have even been on there playing in the first place. Like, going off like, shoot, he was making me mad. Like, you just mad because you got busted. And eventually I hung up because I got tired of him talking stuff. I don't really know what happened after that because, of course, I got off the phone. But, of course, they didn't last. And, yeah, that was the time that I caught my friend's man on the chat line, the hotline, whatever you want to call it. Caught him on there. He was trying to get me drunk and wanted to get some. How? I don't see how people do that. Like, just with a person you ain't never met and you willing to get down like that. To each his own. I ain't here to judge. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please make sure to comment, rate, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Bye, love.